go bhil am a buchas a gháil de dathí agus de fócuist as an cura a chódom agus bunam a cagard agus de gachéine. In accepting the invitation to speak today, I didn't realise that I was going to do so on a day when my brother was finishing as Lord Mayor of Cork, so can I just apologise for having to leave early and just to acknowledge the importance of today and to thank Liam for his introduction. The next time Liam comes before the committee, I can promise you I'll have the attack dogs ready. And Brendan Holland has sent me a message that he hopes you say yes today as opposed to saying no. But can I just... Can I?
Good idea if Brendan Howland said yes the odd time as well. But
can I just, on a genuine note, just thank Liam for his evolving friendship with me, because, as he said, we have become friendly through my job as chairperson of the Health Committee, and I have come to recognise that his task is a difficult one because he doesn't get to please all his members all the time, and he has to make tough decisions as well. And I want to just compliment him for his stewardship of this organisation, because I think at times it's easy to be critical of people, and just to say that Liam, you do have friends at court, so don't be afraid to knock on the door as well, even if you are a Kilkennyman, and we won't mention next Sunday. Hopefully Dublin will be able to give us all a chance next Sunday. Today is a very important day, and I want to acknowledge its importance because it's sending a message, a powerful message, not just the words that Liam used in his address, and he has set a context and a theme for today. But our sexual orientation and our identity does matter, and it does help to shape the future for so many of our fellow citizens. And I want to welcome everybody, be they from whatever organisation you are, to this very important conference today. And in beginning my address, can I just single out the organising committee of Claire, David, Martin, James, Nolene, for your leadership and innovativeness in having this conference. Every organisation needs people to challenge each other and to push the boat out, and thank you for that bravery today. You may think it isn't, but it's a significant step, and thank you very much. I also want to thank the other speakers, and I won't go through them all individually, for their tremendous work in advocating on behalf of the LGBT community and in creating awareness and helping to change the mindset and the attitudes of not just citizens but the media and political organisations, and Michael, through his role in Europe and across Europe, has really set the boat for all of us. And, you know, in Ireland we're fortunate that we have in the Oireachtas 5 members of the Oireachtas who are gay, and that's, if you think about it, it's 50 years ago when John F. Kennedy came to Ireland this week. Look at the change in 50 years in terms of political representation who are gay in our country. That's important. The goal of this conference is to underscore how important sexual orientation and gender identity are for nurses, midwives, and indeed for the health services generally. The very decision to hold this conference is a positive one, as I said, and one that will help to foster and to drive new attitude and culture around LGBT issues. And in the context of LGBT issues, I do hope that others will follow. And Liam, in his remarks, made the point that perhaps that you were playing catch-up. I wouldn't agree. But I do hope that others, be they community organisations, trade unions, sporting bodies, and civic society, will follow today. And indeed, as David O'Brien will tell you, as a member of Cumbernauld Class Gael, very involved in the GA, I would sincerely hope and wish that the GA will follow today's initiative, and that they, along with the IRFU and the FAI, will reach out to LGBT members and to hold a similar conference and to take a gargantuan leap forward towards real equality, and in particular in building a more inclusive society. And I really hope that today can be that bridge that can help people to walk across to a better, more gentler society. I'm privileged to speak today here, not just as the chairperson of the Oireachtas Health and Children Committee, not just as a member of the Dáil, but as a politician who happens to be gay and as a proud citizen of our country. We gather not as transgender, not as gay, bisexual, or whatever. We gather as citizens of Ireland, members of a society seeking to attain equality in our workplaces and in our constitution. Every health service in this country has nurses. Nurses and midwives are managers, policy makers and service designers. Nurses and midwives are very often the first service, or the first person that services meet people in. The service user meets the nurse. So nurses and midwives are, to me, key supports for patients during treatment and in their hospitalisation stay. Your role is crucial in ensuring that LGBT people can access health services without having to hide who they are. Today's conference is that important milestone in demonstrating that nurses and midwives' willingness to lead and excellence in healthcare continues. 21st century Ireland is one where I genuinely hope is a gentler, tolerant and respectful one, where we can live in safety, secure in the workplace, playing an active role in the construction of a new, tolerant, caring Ireland in our communities where we live and where we socialise. Thankfully, the experience of so many LGBT people nowadays is positive and is not one where misery, fear and isolation prevails. My journey in life is no different to so many in this room. It began with unease, fear surrounding my sexuality, and thankfully it's moved to one where it is absolutely full of being supported by so many, to acceptance and of being at peace in myself internally. Recently somebody asked me, why did it take me so long to come out? Why did I not live a life that was fully open about myself? And the answer in truth is, if I knew back then how good life can be as a gay man, I would have done so earlier. But hindsight's a great thing. Helping others based on our experiences is a much greater thing. We live a shared journey. We can't relive life, but we can help others to build new lives, to be open, to be happy, and not to worry about what people will say or think about you. Knowing, as I do, that the journey isn't as hazardous as one imagines is one that we must share, so that it can shatter the perceptions and the attitudes that have shackled the thoughts of society, in particular in our country, for far too long. Undoubtedly, there are very particular and specific challenges faced by LGBT people in the workplace, and it is imperative that the difficulties that people who are gay can face in the workplace is overcome, and that we not only invoke the ideals of our proclamation in cherishing all of our children equally, but that by our words and deeds we enshrine it into the living lives of every citizen in our communities. The valuable contribution that people who are gay make to Irish society, and the need to support them to participate fully in all aspects of Irish life, be it in school, be it in the workplace and in the community, is one that we must all strive for. I am confident, and more so every day, that Ireland can become a place where all LGBT people can feel safe, can be confident about being open about their sexual orientation or their sexual identity at home, in the workplace and within the wider community. More and more companies, organisations, be they public, private, trade unions in Ireland, are recognising the real value to their business and to their workplace of diversity amongst their staff. It's the right thing to do, and it's the smart thing to do. People perform best where they can be themselves. And that's what all of us deserve, the opportunity to be ourselves. LGBT employees who can be themselves in safe and respectful work environments do better. I want to make one reference, if I may, this afternoon to an organisation that I've become very influenced by, but also, if you like, supportive of. It's Glen, Gay Lesbian Equality Network, who have developed this new Diversity Champions programme. And the Diversity Champions is Ireland's network for employers working to ensure that within their workplace that people are inclusive of their lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender employees. And it works with employers to drive their business case for LGBT diversity and inclusion. And Diversity Champions members between them employ over 15,000 people in our country. And leading companies include UCD, DCU, Microsoft, Google, Ernst & Young, Enterprise, Rent-A-Car, have all signed up to participate. And I would like to send a message today to all of us in this room to encourage other public sector employers, including those in the health sector, to join this Diversity Champions programme. It's very important that we send the right message. And if I may, just for a moment, single out Paul Franey and members of G-Force at the back of the room for the work that they do within Gardaí Síochána, where they've shown that by being LGBT in the Gardaí can be positive and can enrich the lives of all of us. And I want to pay tribute to Paul and Niall, who are here today, for the great work that you do, and thank you very much. Good employers are realising that promoting LGBT diversity within their organisations is also good for all of their staff. It's good for their business, it's good for their customers or their service users. So initiatives like the Glen Diversity Champions programme really is one that we should be flagging and encouraging all public sector bodies to become involved. There are of course other significant economic benefits to promoting diversity and equality in the workplace, including a strong indicator that Ireland is a modern, progressive society, which is an additional support in attracting foreign investment. I think it is important that we recognise that we all come to life with gifts and talents, and that we're all different. But in that, being fully ourselves is good, not just for our companies, not just for our organisations, but for each other, for mental health, for the wider population. And earlier this year I was at a conference in Waterford where I spoke at a conference organised by Tenny in terms of transgender, and I was very struck by the honesty, the candour, not just of the organising committee, and I want to acknowledge Vanessa here today, but of the parents of people who spoke so honestly and eloquently about being open, being true to themselves, and the transformation that it made by a mother accepting the change in their daughter or in their son to a daughter, and the blossoming of that person. And if I never go to another conference, if I never speak at another event, that event in Waterford taught me the value of life, the value of mental health, and the importance of accepting each other for who we are. Because that conference, and I would encourage people to go to YouTube and watch it, because it sends a message that it's okay to be different, it's okay to be who we are, that we're not alone in our journey, that there are others who can walk with us, if only we have the courage within ourselves to say, you know what, let's make that first step. And that's why today is very important. We have a lot of ground covered as a country in the last 20 years, from decriminalisation to the passage of the civil partnership legislation, to the enactment of 3 finance bills, to hopefully seeing discrimination in our workplace removed. This month marks the 20th anniversary of the passage of the Unfair Dismissals Act, which ensures that a person cannot be fired because of their sexual orientation. 15 years ago this month, the Employment Equality Act was passed, adding to the protections on the grounds of sexual orientation. However, there is an exemption in that act on the grounds of religious ethos. While it has never been tested in the courts or never been relied upon by employers, the exemption is a chill factor, at the very least for many people, including myself, if I lose my daughter secretly in Paris of thought, where as a gay person teaching in a school, I can be fired under Section 37 of the Employment Act. And I do hope that this government will move to change that sooner rather than later. And I recognise that there has been a debate in the Shannon and a bill put forward by Everett Power and by Ivana Patrick and the Labour Party senators. And I do hope that the programme for government commitment will be enacted by this government, because it is important that we send a message, not just to our teachers, but to those who run our schools, that it is okay to be gay and that we shouldn't let this hanging over us. I'm almost there, Liam, don't worry.
Keep going.
I'm looking forward to you heading out to the count. I just got a text from Brendan Howland. He wants to know how's it going. The Constitutional Convention was set up by the government. Many thought it was a cynical exercise, but it hasn't been. The result of the vote on same-sex marriage at the Constitutional Convention was an overwhelming endorsement that sends a loud signal to the rest of the world about the value that Irish people place on equality, diversity and inclusiveness. And I want to compliment the citizen members of the Constitutional Convention who over 2 days of that weekend listened, sat, engaged, discussed, not influenced by politicians, but influenced by people like Meninia and her team who gave tremendous presentations to that Constitutional Convention. And I was very proud to be part of that convention because by voting in favour of putting the issue to the people by way of a referendum, it will allow, I hope, for our constitution to be changed to provide for same-sex marriage. The convention has pushed the marriage equality agenda on immeasurably, done so by ordinary citizens willing to say that our constitution needs to be changed. The debate at the convention was exceptional because it was respectful and tolerant, but it also gave 100 people an opportunity not just to discuss the issue, but to debate it in full. And thankfully the government has given a commitment to formulate a public response to each of the recommendations of the Constitution within 4 months. And I really hope that the Taoiseach's words this morning that we will see in 2014 a referendum on same-sex marriage come to pass, and that all of us in this room will play a full, integral part in campaigning for a yes vote, where we can see under our Constitution equality for all our citizens enshrined. In conclusion, informing and coming out and informing the Fine Gael LGBT group, I made a declaration, along with members of my own party, that one day a member of my political party, and indeed of all political parties, can be elected to Dáil Éireann, can become a cabinet minister, even the Minister for Health, or even more importantly, can be leader of a political party to become Taoiseach of our country. Irrespective of sexual orientation or gender identity, each person, each member of society is and can be free to be who they are, to fulfil their true potential. Your presence today does count, does matter, does send a signal. For me, politics is about people. It isn't just about activism. It's not just about making choices. It's about making choices which lead to change. I'm proud to be a gay person. I'm proud to be a gay member of Dáil Éireann. And I challenge each one of us in this room to continually work to bring an Ireland where love is embraced, be it gay or straight, and where being LGBT is accepted, and where diversity is celebrated, and where equality is attained. Gur maith.